All right, guys, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already seen the viral video of the racist rant from Edward Cagney Mathews against a black man. Well, he looked African. He sounded African man in a neighborhood dispute. Okay, now a little backstory on what happened here. Apparently, Mr. Mathews had some issues with the president of the homeowner association, and he went to address those issues, but the wife was there, right? And apparently he was seen trying to break into the house by opening the storm door. He was actually seen wiping the door handle off to get his fingerprints off of the door handle because he was trying to get into the house. And at that point, he started yelling racial slurs at the wife and going crazy. And she called the neighbor to help, whom happened to be the African man. And that's why in the video, you see the African man being there on the porch, trying to defend the people at that property. Now, obviously from there, Mr. Edwards, he goes and he, goes on his racist rant, calls him a monkey, tell him that this ain't Africa, calls him the N-word, okay, all types of stuff, okay, all types of racist stuff, right? And it's funny because in the video, he was giving out his address, saying, whoever wants to come see me, pull up, blah, 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 I live here. And people pulled up, right? Matter of fact, the whole hood pulled up on him. The whole hood pulled up on him, right? Which led to his arrest. So I want you guys to watch this news clip of the incident just to kind of get a visual and a better summary in terms of the current updates regarding this. Take a look.
It's a story that's gone viral. A South Jersey community confronted a man over his racist and aggressive rant against his neighbor. The man has been charged now, and he remains behind bars tonight. Action News reporter George Solis is live outside Mount Laurel Police, where talk continues about the incident. George.
That's right. Good afternoon, Sarah. Edward Mathews appeared before the judge today for his first appearance. Now, he will remain in custody until his first detention hearing sometime later this week. And today there is, as you can expect, more fallout from that already viral video. Today it is geared towards the Mount Laurel Police Department. In an interview with Action News on Monday, the South Jersey man caught on a now viral video using racial slurs towards his neighbor's door in an argument is regretting his words.
Just like I told the Mount Laurel Police, get these monkey out of here, and you can't do.
During our interview, he worked to explain his actions.
I was drunk, I was out of line, I let my anger get the best of me.
Now, as it turns out, it may not have been the first time that happened. Tuesday, the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office released this mugshot of 45-year-old Edward Cagney Mathews hours after being taken into custody late Monday evening after an hours-long protest that unfolded outside his home. Mathews has been charged with 6 offenses related to the viral video, as well as a separate incident with another female neighbor. In that one, he's accused of being caught on video using slurs and performing a, quote, lewd motion while laughing. In total, Mathews was charged with 3 hate crimes, 2 charges for harassment, and 1 charge for trespassing. Back at his home, which had been vandalized by protesters, a woman who identified herself as Mathews' ex-wife accused the media of blowing things out of proportion, but offered no other comment. Protesters have now taken some of their frustrations to the Mount Laurel Police Department. A small group gathered outside the agency, angered by the response of the first officer that encountered Mathews in the viral video.
You go talk to the let them know what I'm all about and what their rights they have.
All right, you want to go back to your house? I'll come back to you.
No, I'll stand right here. It's common property.
I think if we would have never showed up, that would have never happened. I think that Edward would have been still sitting home comfortably in his bed today had the community not actually showed up and took action.
As far as demands go, the protesters want an outside investigation to look into the video as well as the officer's action. They also want anti-oppression training. The Burlington County Prosecutor's Office says they are reviewing videos that were captured during some of the unrest yesterday outside of Mathews' home. They say anyone that was caught vandalizing property will likely also be charged. We are live outside the Mount Laurel Police Department. George Solis, Channel 6, Action News. Rick?
All right, George, thank you.
All right, guys. So, like I said, I just want to make this unequivocally clear. Because there are some people that criticize me and black conservatives because they say, well, you guys never call out the racist white man. You guys say that racism doesn't exist and blah, 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 blah. I'm making it very well known right now that this was a textbook example of racism. Okay, this is a textbook example of, somebody whom has these very, very, very racist feelings towards black people. Okay. Now, I don't know what happened before that video, but I think that regardless of what happened, it does not excuse the rant that this guy went on. And apparently he's been doing this for a while in the neighborhood. Okay. And, nothing has really been done about it. And that's why a lot of people got upset and criticized the police department, because they said, well, we've been complaining about this guy for years and you guys haven't done anything about it. Well, I mean, the issue is that, he whether you agree with it or not, the dude has his freedom of speech. Most of the charges have been dismissed or dropped, or they found no probable cause. And he's been investigated several times, according to the police chief. Okay. I mean, they've investigated the guy. Okay. But up until this point, it doesn't seem like he was actually a threat as far as I know. Right. And there was no actual video of the incident. But now what changed is the fact that there is a video. But again, the criticism is that, well, if we didn't protest and show up to his crib, then he wouldn't have been arrested. But I mean, he did have a summons to come to court. And that's typically how this type of stuff works, right? They go and they say, hey, you need to show up in court at this day. And that's just how it goes, right? But with this video coming out, the court is saying, with this evidence, we now can arrest him. That's their defense of why they're arresting him now. They're saying it didn't really have anything to do with the protest. It had more to do with the fact that we actually have hardcore evidence that can lead to, that we can use to actually arrest the guy. But obviously, this guy feels entitled. He's one of these people that I think has some deep, deep issues going on deep down inside that, he needs to work out, right? And I think a lot of it is self-esteem. And I think that when you see people like this, because there are people like this in the world, I think a lot of it, they have some internal issues, whether that's drinking, whether that's, they going through a relationship thing, whether they have self-esteem issues, whether they, at work. There's a lot of things that this guy could be going through that I think could be leading to his feelings about black people, right? And I am not defending him at all. What he said was vile. It was inexcusable. And hey, he deserves to be arrested, probably to do some jail time, because he is basically a threat, okay? Because he allegedly tried to break into this woman's house, okay? And he needs some help, right? He needs some help. So again, I'm not defending the guy here. I'm just saying that I think that this person has some self-esteem issues. And I think that the guy that was being confronted, the African man, I think that he used a lot of restraint, and I'm actually really proud of him for not actually resulting to violence, because, in a situation like that, if I was younger, right, basically in my teenage years, I would be like, nah, bro, we got to square up right now. We got to box, bro. You're not pulling up to my crib saying all racist things, calling me an N-word. We're going to pull up. And being older, I realized that what he actually did was the right thing. And the reason why is because I'm going to tell you guys a personal story. And I think I might have mentioned this story before, in which I was in a somewhat similar situation to this. When I was, I think I was 17 or something like that. I was driving through my neighborhood at night. It was raining, right? Pouring down raining. And a pickup truck was behind me. And I was driving, and, when I go to park, I turn around, I make a U-turn to go park at my house, right? And I was up making this U-turn. The dude stops me, and he rolls down the window, and he's like, next time I catch you speeding by my house, I'm going to hang you from the next tree, N-word, right? So I'm like, what? Dude literally just told me he was going to hang me from a tree, right? This is a neighbor, okay? White man. So I go back to the house. Again, I'm 17. I run upstairs to my parents' room. My dad is asleep. I say, Dad, get up. This white man just said that he gonna hang me from a tree. Okay, he just said he was gonna hang me from a tree. We need to pull up on him, right? We need to pull up, right? So, see, my pops is pissed, right? He's pissed. He don't play that, right? He's pissed. So we get up. We go to the neighbor's house. And he's actually not there, right? He's not there. I mean, again, we're ready to fight, right? We're ready to fight, but the neighbor is not there. He's not there. It was a good thing that he was not there. And the reason why is because ultimately we did the right thing, which is we went and pressed charges for communicating threats, right? Communicating threats. Okay. And the reason why I know it's the right thing is because when we actually showed up to court, the guy came in with his lawyer and he sits down and the dude is crying. He is boo-hoo, bawling, crying, right? Dude that said he was going to hang a 17-year-old from a tree. He is crying, right? Boo-hoo crying. And he basically says that, hey, you know, I'm really sorry for what I said. You know, I was drunk. I have drinking issues. You know, I was concerned about my daughters. You know, there's so many people that speed through the neighborhood, so many kids that speed through the neighborhood, that, I'm just tired of it, you know, and I let my anger get the best of me. You know, I have issues at the house. You know, I don't want to lose my job. I could lose my job over this. You know, I just want forgiveness. I'm so sorry. And at that moment, you know, I had to decide in my head, did I want revenge or did I want to forgive? Okay. And, you know, having a strong Christian background, I said, you know what? I'm going to forgive this person. Okay. I'm going to say, you know what? This person was wrong. He admitted he was in the wrong. And I was also in the wrong for speeding through the neighborhood. Okay. But I think he knows that he could have handled that in a better way. He could have came by the house and addressed the problem with my parents, right? To say, hey, your child, you know, you need to stop speeding through the neighborhood. That's the way he could have handled it. And I forgave him, right? We shook hands. And from that day moving forward, I mean, dude became the nicest person in the world. You know, he'd show up to the house. You know, he talked to my grandma, you know, do all types of stuff where he was just showing that, hey, you know what? I was wrong. And, you know, ultimately, in the day, never had a problem with him again. Never had an issue with him again. And from that day, that taught me how to deal with people who may have negative feelings towards black people. It just showed me that a lot of people are just ignorant about black people and that they don't interact with a lot of black people. And I think that having that moment of forgiveness and kindness, I think showed him that, hey, you know what? Like, these are not bad people, right? And even though he said something that, again, is, you know, somewhat traumatic for a 17-year-old to hear, right? That, you know, neighbor is going to hang him from a tree. I think the fact that I forgave him for it really changed his heart. Okay. I think it changed the way he thought about black people. Right. And again, just moving forward in the future, that's why I have such strong feelings about, you know, words that people use, right? When people say racist things, right? When they say the N-word, that's why I'm so big on restraint, right? I'm so big on, you know, trying to understand that person, understanding where they're coming from, understanding their background, because a lot of it is personal and they're taking that out on somebody else because they are ignorant, right? And that could be what's going on with this guy, but this guy could just be hateful, right? This guy could just be a hateful person whom, you know, just doesn't like black people and, you know, yada, 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 right? That could be what this person is. It's probably most likely what he is, right? But, you know, at the same time, I want to blame that African man if he did, you know, knock the hell out of him, okay? I want to blame him for it. I'm just saying, I'm proud of him for using restraint. And I think that when you use restraint like that, I think what it also does is that it takes away the power of those words, right? I've always argued that the N-word is only powerful because people react to it, right? Because, you know, that him using that word, it summoned a whole lot of people to his house because he used that slur, because he said that. And what that shows is that that word has power, right? Which is why I don't necessarily agree with all those people showing up, because all it shows is that, hey, all the racists out there, they have power over black people. Hey, I can summon a ton of black people to my house if I say something racist. I can make you act. I can make you get out of character just from saying a word, right? And I think strength comes from being able to restrain yourself and understand that a person is ignorant, right? And just going throughout the normal process to deal with that person rather than trying to, you know, take matters into your own hand. Again, I want to blame them either way. If he, again, would have hit the guy, I want to blame him, but I'm just saying, right? And, you know, that also brings up the whole police incident, right? The police get there and these people are so upset that, you know, they're throwing bottles at the police, right? They're going after the police. And it's like, bro, the police are there to do what you want them to do, which is to arrest the guy, right? And while they're trying to take the guy in, you're harassing them. Again, it doesn't make sense. All this energy because the dude said the N-word, because he said something racist. But, you know, this energy never happened in the actual neighborhoods that are really affecting black people negatively, right? Like, you know, and I hate to do this, but it must be said, like, why is it that you see stuff like this when it comes to incidents of racism, right? But you don't see stuff like this type of energy when it comes to gang violence, when it comes to drug dealers, right? You don't see these people show up to the gang member's house or the drug house and say, stop selling drugs in our neighborhood. Stop causing gang violence in our neighborhood. Stop killing our young men and women. You don't see this type of protest. And I think if you saw this type of energy when a gang shooting happens, I think that you will actually see some change. I think you will actually see some good come out of it. And that's what's really the real threat. That guy right there, at least up until that point, from what I know, was not really a threat. He was just the dude he was a harasser. And obviously those people should be dealt with by the criminal justice system. But I'm just saying, like, he ain't really harmed nobody. Okay? So in my opinion, I don't think people like that are really as big as a threat as people try to make them out to be. At least relatively speaking, right? In terms of the actual real threats in the black community, which is, you know, the gangs, okay? And those people who commit violence and murder and things like that. But again, you have energy towards somebody whom says racist things, but you don't have the same energy for those who are actually really causing harm in the neighborhood. And I think that's a prime example of how you make somebody that has no power, that is a small person, that really is a coward to a certain extent. That's how you make that person a big person. That's how you make them powerful. You just gave that man so much power, right? Because of the way that you react to him saying the N-word. And I just find it interesting how that happens. I mean, again, in my opinion, I just think that priorities are out of line, right? I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. I'm just saying at the end of the day, this guy is not really holding any black people back. He's a minor annoyance, right? He's a minor annoyance, okay? That's what he is. He's a small person. But hey, you know, that's just my opinion on that. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.